Welcome back to Leap Goblin Fishing. Alright, today's video is all about the square bill. During this fall transition where the water's cooling down, the bite starts to pick up, which I've experienced today. It's great. It's been very slow lately. The transitional period there where it starts can be really rough. The fish get kind of shocked. They're used to like a warm water on the bottom and hot on top from summertime, so they stay on bottom. We've been fishing deep all summer, right? So right now it's a little different. They're starting to roam. That cold water mixes with that warm water, and before you know it, the whole lake or pond is the same temperature. It shocks them and they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. They don't know where to go for fish. They don't even want to eat sometimes. So right now, once they get used to that though, it gets cold and they get ready to eat. They want to gorge before winter. And the biggest thing they eat in this period is shad and bait fish. So when you're picking out your square bill in fall, make sure you pick a shad-like color. This one has shad colors, but it also has a chartreuse line. Anything blue, silver, anything silver really will be effective, because when fish move, regardless of what color they are, they're going to throw silver at predator fish like bass. Wow, this is a multi-species video here. I got a perch, an angry perch. I've put together 5 tips that will make you better with the square bill, and it's the beginner's guide really to the square bill and how to work it and where to work it. So what you can do to control the depth on it is a couple things. Where your rod tip hangs in your hand will do a lot for it, and how fast you reel in will do a lot for your depth. So if you keep your rod tip up nice and high and a slow retrieve, your square bill is going to stay right on top water. So if you're fishing shallow and in weeds, it's great. You can pull it right through and you won't get dirty. Dirty meaning covered in grass and everything else. Slapping your lure off the water, you know, is all fine and dandy, but the less you have to do that, the more time you can go fishing. The other part of that is, so rod tip high, you can go shallow. Rod tip straight out, you're going to hit the medium. You know, you're going to hit right around probably 2 or 3 feet if you stick it straight out. And then straight down, you're going to hit the 5 feet that it's meant to hit. The other thing you can do is reel in a little faster if you wanted to go a little deeper. It all depends on what the fish are biting. So you're going to have to experiment. Start with the rod tip, you know, probably medium with a medium crank. See what you're catching. If you're catching fish, great, stick with it. If you're not catching fish and you're catching grass, slap off the grass and try something different. You're probably gonna get, if you're getting grass, you're probably gonna have to keep that rod tip up high and work it a little slower. Today has actually been all over the place for me. I fished some shallow spots and caught some fish, and I fished some deep spots and caught some fish, and I caught some in the middle of the column, the middle of the water column. So really you gotta play around with it. Most of mine though were deep. So with my rod facing straight down with a heavy retrieve. It was as deep as that thing could go. I was hugging the bottom of the lake. Alright, he's a better fish. Good, healthy fish too. He's starting to fatten up. This fall transition bite's a real thing, buds. The second tip in this beginner's guide to the square bill is the color. I've already touched on this. Today I'm using shad colored with a chartreuse line on it. Chartreuse actually works good because it works good in clear water and murky water. It helps them see the lure better in murky water, but then it will actually reflect a little bit of green for them in a clear water. So if they're not specifically going after shad, that silver of the shad will catch them, but also the green will catch them if they're eating perch. So it's a good little combo there to catch them regardless. Color though can be wishy-washy. So you want to go with what they're eating. Obviously you're going to want to go with what they're eating already. So if they're eating shad, you pick a shad color. But sometimes if you want to catch that big fish, he goes for what no one else is eating. You know, all the other fish are chasing shad, so he's looking for that big sunfish or that big perch. So sometimes going the opposite, or even a color that's not natural to your pond, like black and red, sometimes that's the key. Sometimes that's the ticket to getting the biggest fish of the day. So keep that in mind. Always have something ready that's a little different, especially if you're fishing with other people and they're all throwing shad colors. Try throwing a sunfish color or a perch color. You'd be surprised if you don't pull out the biggest fish. All right, third tip for the beginner's guide to the square bill is your rod and reel. Today, I'm using my SLX DC, which is a Shimano reel. DC means digital chip, so it actually has a braking mechanism in here, a digital chip, and what it does is every 1/1000th of a second, it registers the spool speed and adjusts the brakes accordingly. This thing I cannot recommend enough for all fishing. For this, it's good because square bills are pretty light, and when I'm hurling them out there and trying to get as much distance as possible, the DC really helps with the spool speed and helps me not backlash. The other thing I'm using is a medium heavy fast action rod. This is a 7-foot rod. I'm not going to tell you the brand because it doesn't matter. It really does not matter what rod you get. Just pick one that looks nice. You know, don't go super cheap with them, but finding one that's super expensive may not be worth your time and money. So just keep that in mind if you're a beginner. Obviously, if you're a pro, go with your really nice rods. Get something that's really gonna mean a lot to you and work for a long time and be very reliable, and maybe with a warranty. That would be. But if you're a beginner, medium heavy fast action, you can run that rod on everything that you. My fourth tip for the beginner's guide to the square bill is unhooking the fish. So unhooking a fish, and this really goes for anything with treble hooks, unhooking the fish can be a nightmare with treble hooks. You're gonna catch yourself in your hands at least once, I guarantee you. So what I do is, first I use a net. A net helps a lot, controls the fish when he's flopping around. And two, I never grab the lure with my bare hands. Either wear gloves or use a pair of pliers to grab the hooks. 9 times out of 10, the fish will actually unhook himself just when you grab the hook. And I'll actually show you a clip of that happening. So feisty, you'll get a treble hook in you real quick. All I had to do was get a hold of it and he shook himself. There's a fish jumping right next to me. Oh my god, he won't let me do the rest of this video. So unhooking fish, honestly, get him to the boat, get him in a net, grab the pliers, plier the treble hook, either flip the treble hook upside down and let the weight of the fish or the action of the fish drop himself off the hook, or if he's really hooked really bad, use a pair of lip grippers. These are Rapala grippers. They're really nice on fish. They don't hurt them. You can lip them with it and hang them by their own body weight as long as they're not like a 7-pound fish. And this isn't going to hurt them at all. And the best part about this is your hand is not in their mouth with a treble hook and a feisty. My fifth tip is easy, and this one anyone can do, hands down. Have fun. Make sure you're having fun. If you're not having fun and you're getting frustrated, it's not worth your time. Trust me, it's not. Even if you're not catching fish, just make sure you try to have fun. Experiment with it. You know, do your reeling in fast, do your reeling in slow, do a medium retrieve, do your rod tip high, medium, low, all of it. Do every combination of the 3 things. Just be safe when you're unhooking the fish and have fun. That's really all there is to it. All right, thanks for checking out my square bill guide, the 5 tips for beginners. Let me know down below what tip you think is the best tip or the most beneficial, or down below let me know if this video helped you at all. If you're a beginner, I want to know, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like the content. Thanks guys.